Okay, another day, another laptop repair. This time it's a HP G56. Two problems with this one. It has a failed fan, so I have a replacement. Also full of malware, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. I might do a separate one on how to do that. But malware, lots of different types, lots of different methods of removing it. Some work better than others, some it depends on what's wrong. So that'll be a different video. So I will start this particular video, excuse the poor camera work. This particular laptop, when you power it on, you get the boot logo, and then you get the message saying that the fan is failed. It's not a good idea to use your machine like that because you could overheat the CPU and or GPU and cause permanent damage. So we'll get the fan replaced. So I'm going to start by removing all of the screws on the bottom. I'm not going to show you undo the screws. What I will do is I'll get these covers moved off as well, and there's likely to be screws under the covers as well, so I'll point those out in a second. So I'll just start by first removing the battery, and then I'll remove all the screws. Okay, I've removed all the screws. There's a couple tucked in underneath the covers. They're marked anyway. A couple up here. There's one in the middle here. One thing to note is when you're working on a computer, you need to have your ESD band connected to prevent any damage caused by static. I have actually damaged a machine before doing that without a band, so I always wear one now. Next thing, I'm going to remove the RAM and the wireless card. These connectors, I'll show you how I remove those in a second. Generally all I do with these is pop a little spudger underneath and pop them off, just like that. Just get a little spudger underneath, and off they come. Getting them on is a bit more tricky, but we'll remove the card and the RAM, and then we'll get the hard drive out. There's a little tab on this connector, and then you just grab hold of the tab like that and pull it up. Bit fiddly. Route the wire through the groove there, and then you should be able to, once you've undone these screws, remove the hard drive. So I'll do that now as well. Removing the wireless card was easy enough. There was just one screw and it just comes out at an angle and lifts out. The RAM, these little tabs are to either side. You, if I can focus, there we go. Push these both out. It is hard to do it one-handed, but then the RAM just comes out like that. You probably don't actually need to remove the RAM for this, but I do anyway. There you go. So, and the hard drive's been removed. Those two screws there. Unplug the cable and just pull it out. It's easy enough. The HP have been kind to us on this one. The keyboard, some of them, they're held in by little clips around the top here. And you have to push them in with the end, pointy end of a plastic tool. It's important that it's plastic because else you'll scuff up this plastic. But this keyboard, they use screws, thankfully. So just if you get your nail in or the end of the spudger, just gently lift the keyboard up and away. You can flip it over, and then just grab this little plastic lever and lift it up. Pull the cable out, and there's your keyboard removed. So if you were just changing the keyboard, you could just reverse from what at this point. You didn't even have to take all the screws out. The screws for the keyboard have got a little symbol of a keyboard next to them. So, but there's a couple of screws on the top here. I'll remove those. and there's some connectors which need to also be removed. So this type with the little lever that you lift up, they just pop out. This is going to need a little plastic tool to remove it, but then there's these with the little lever that you lift up again as well. Those ones, they just pop out. So I'll remove those, remove the screws, and show you the next step. Oh, and yes, I'll get the screws out first. If you're changing the DVD drive, you only need to remove this screw, which I've done, and then you can just slide the again one-handed. I was too lazy to set the tripod up. Just slide the DVD drive out. One thing to note is to make sure you keep tabs on where each screw goes, because they are different sizes. So lay them out, put them in different compartments, whatever. Just make sure you know where they go. This connector, which is for the speakers, just get your tab in there and try and gently prise the connector out. Be a bit careful with it, but definitely don't pull it by the wires. It looks like there's been liquid in here, and this fan, which we can see, it's very stiff, which is why it isn't working. You can also see there's a lot of dust in it, and I'll show you that later on. We now need to separate the top and bottom halves of the bottom case. This laptop's been damaged at some point, but essentially what you just need to do is get these plastic tabs out. You can do that with a flat opening tool. This is probably not the ideal tool, but I've actually in the past used things like credit cards and that to do this job, and they work alright. So do that all the way around. This one's coming out quite easy. Sometimes it's more difficult than others, but don't force anything because you'll end up breaking something. Now that all the clips have been freed, the cables are all unplugged, you can lift away the top cover and reveal the insides of the laptop. So the next step is to disconnect and remove the main board. So we'll have a look at that now. Okay, so first we need to look at the connectors. The first one is here. This is for the DVD-ROM. It's the same as the hard drive. It's got a little plastic tab and just pull up on it. And the next one is this one, which is the microphone connector. Again, you can get it with your fingernails, that's ideal. If not, then use a tool. But that slides out. I rock the connector a little bit, makes it easier. It's held down in some places with little sticky rubbery things, but they just peel off easy enough. So there's that one. This next one is the display. There's a sticker on it. And once you peel the sticker off, you'll see it's got the same plastic tab as the hard drive and the DVD drive cable. It's usually good to support the board when you pull these out. And then we have three connectors over here. This one goes to the USB port on the side. It's got one of those lift up. This one, I believe, goes to the webcam in the display. So I'll just rock that back and forth and it'll come out. And this one underneath, I can't remember off the top of my head what that's for. But again, you just need to get in the little latches on the connector and pull it out. I'm going to do that off camera because I need to do it two-handed really. Okay, this connector's been a bit stubborn, so I'm actually going to remove the screws and get the board out first and then remove that cable once I've got the board lifted. There's a screw here and a screw down here. I think that's it. Don't see any others. So I'll get that out. So the screws are out, the board should just lift up. Don't lift it too high because that cable's still connected. And we should be able to, now we can lift it get underneath and disconnect this cable. Again, I'm going to do that off camera, but I can feel a little plastic edge now that I can get my fingers around, or a tool to remove that cable, so we'll do that now. And there we go, this cable appears to go to the charging DC input jack and charging status LED. So now I should be able to just simply lift the board out, and it's coming, sort of. It's being held in place by some sticky tape on the microphone cable. And there we go. It wants to fall over on me, so I'll remove the board and move the rest of the case out of the way, because it's the board we're interested in. Okay, so here's the board. So let's turn it over. Here's the fan, which we're going to be removing. Now I seem to remember with these, yes, you have to remove the entire heatsink assembly, so we'll do that. So the fan connector here unplugs, again fingernails or spudger or something, and then you've got only 3 screws on this one. There's usually 4 screws holding down this heat pipe to the CPU. So I'll undo those and show you the next step. Okay, I've undone these screws. Now it's held down here by some adhesive, which is just going to peel off. There we go. And now I can see the CPU, and beside it probably the chipset, and on the bottom of here there's a little heat thermally conductive pad there, and some thermal paste there, which we're going to replace as well. I haven't got another one of those, so I'm just going to leave that one in place, but ideally it should be replaced, but I don't have any, so I'll just try and keep it clean, and we'll put new thermal grease on it. The fan's held onto this plate with 3 tiny screws, so you need a really small screwdriver to get those, but I have one, so I'll do that. I lied, there's 4 screws, there's one there as well. So this is free. Let's see the horrors that lurk beneath. Actually, that's nowhere near as bad as I've seen it before. I've seen these completely clogged. Let's hold it up to the light. Can we see any light through it? Yeah, it still needs cleaning. It's not as bad as I was expecting. I'll clean this with a brush and some compressed air, just one of those aerosol cans, and just clean it off. This can be discarded because this is the broken one. See, when I move it, it stops straight away, whereas the new one, you can see it spins a bit more freely because the bearings in the old one are shot. So I'll get rid of that. So I've screwed the new fan into place. The next thing is cleaning this and the CPU, and for that I'm going to use some isopropyl. It's very good for getting off thermal compound. So I need some cotton buds or Q-tips if you're American, and I'll go get those now. So I've just dipped some, poured some into the lid here, and we're just going to clean this away. As you can see, it's already starting to remove it, so I'm going to clean this and come back. So that's nice and clean, all shiny. I'm going to do the same to the processor now. and then once I've done that, I'm just going to reassemble it, which is basically the exact reverse of disassembling it. So I'm not going to show all the steps for reassembly, just anything that's particularly noteworthy. Okay, now the process is nice and clean. There's a bit of overspill on the outside here, but that's nothing to worry about, it's fine. But the actual die is clean, so what I'm going to do now is just put a little dab of this thermal compound on there. Yeah, that should be more than enough. So now just screw everything back together. So it's all back together, and here's the moment of truth. Fan's running, that's a good sign. And let's start Windows normally. I think it failed because of maybe it overheated or something along those lines, but it does look like it's going to boot. So I'm going to call that job done. Thanks for watching.